Today, we're going to be giving you guys 11 fish that I think are probably the hardest to kill in the entire aquarium hobby. So 11 fish that are super easy, well I think that are easy, and something I'd recommend to beginners. If you've never had a fish tank before, we're currently in the store. You guys can come and visit our store. My name's Nick, and yeah, I run this store here in Brisbane, and we breed a ton of fish. And today, I'm going to give you 10 years of fish keeping experience. We've gone through the store and we figured out, I think that these are probably like the hardest ones to kill. So we'll start with number one, which is cardinal tetras. So if you come over here, I think personally cardinal tetras are a great beginner fish, and there's a few reasons for that. So these, firstly, they're a little bit more pricey than your neon tetras, but they're a super small, beautiful, beautiful schooling fish that I think are adaptable in a bunch of water parameters. So these probably prefer softer water, but they can take kind of like that harder, more alkaline water that people would keep them in their community tank. They're peaceful, they're schooling. I'd recommend to get at least 5 of these guys, and they have a lot of color. The reason I prefer these over neons is, firstly, they look a little bit better, but neons kind of carry some weaker diseases that I find that these cardinals don't get. So these are obviously tropical fish. You're going to want to, with all these fish, you're going to want to have a heater and keep them above 20 degrees to 22 degrees Celsius minimum. Like, I'd recommend to keep them at 24 degrees Celsius, but yeah, these are a super easy one to care for. I wouldn't recommend keeping them with bigger fish, but at community fish, these are as easy as they can get. As long as you buy them from like a good source, so you buy them nice and fat, they're not skinny, any problems like that, you're never going to really fail with these fish. I find them to be a great one. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, super hardy.
So let's go to the next one. I don't remember what we had. Minnows. All right. This one I think is probably easier than cardinal tetras, and maybe even better for beginners, and that's because they're cheap. I bred all these minnows in here. They're super easy to breed as well. So if you want to do like a little breeding project, you can try these out. I bred these in a bucket, and you guys can go and watch that video. It was super fun. But minnows, the good thing about minnows is they can also go cold water. So you don't need a heater technically for these. They're a schooling fish, peaceful. Again, they're not going to harm and harass other fish. And they look pretty. I think they're kind of underrated as a fish. A lot of these, you know, obviously I think the cardinals are better, but the minnows, they're just as cool. So the other cool thing is these breed every day. So like no matter what water you got, like these are, look, I'm guaranteeing they're breeding. So even if their babies aren't surviving in your community tank, the eggs they're going to lay in the morning are feeding the other fish. So they kind of like help out your tank a little bit. So I've never had issues with these fish at all. They're like super easy, super hard to kill. Yeah. All right. What do we got next? Danios. So down here, these are pearl danios, and I'm just going to lump all the danios into one kind of category here. So zebra danios, gold danios, leopard danios, longfin danios. I'm not talking about celestial pearl danios or anything like that. So these are pearl danios. I'd recommend like zebra danios, leopard danios, gold danios, giant danios as all in the same category. When you see things like celestial pearl danios, they're a little bit different, and I don't think they're in the same category, but I bred all these as well. Super easy. Exactly the same care, I'd say, as the white cloud minnows. They probably can't take as cool of water, but again, super easy, pretty, peaceful, and they spawn every day, and they're going to feed your tank as well. So these are definitely on my hardest to kill fish in the fish room. We've got more cardinals here as well. Look how pretty they look as a big squirrel. That's incredible, isn't it? Yeah. All right, let's go to the next one. We got, what do we got? Hill streams. So the next fish is going to be hill stream loaches. This is a terrible tank to be looking at right now because obviously we've got all this diatom algae at the front. But hill stream loaches, I think, are probably the hardest fish here in the shop. I've really had a hard time killing them. I've had like 1 or 2 die here and there from like stupid reasons. But I think these are one of the hardest fish in the entire hobby. They're just an interesting looking fish. They're like a mini algae eater. They're not like an insanely good algae eater, but they do eat down algae. And I think they're cool, they're easy to breed. I've got videos on how to breed them as well. And I think these are kind of underrated as a beginner fish. I think they're super easy. And they can go pretty much cold water, so people keep them at 15 degrees Celsius. So easy, again, definitely one of the hardest bulletproof fish we got here. Have you ever kept them?
No, actually I never have.
Yeah, a lot of people haven't. Yeah, super easy, super easy. I was really worried to buy them because I thought they were going to be a little bit sensitive. Like people say they need high flow, they need this and that. Haven't found that to be the case. So this is just for hill stream loaches, reticulated hill stream loaches. This isn't like Borneo suckers and things like that. Those are different. Reticulated hill stream loaches, piece of piss, super easy. So we're back in the shop now, and the next fish on the list is going to be angelfish. So some people might disagree with me here, and that's okay. I think angels are a really easy fish to care for, especially if you can find like a nice, really healthy one. Then you're never gonna really struggle with them. I find them to be bulletproof. They're definitely a beginner fish. The only thing with angels I find is they can be a little bit aggressive. So if you're a beginner and you're trying out angels for the first time, I'd honestly recommend to just get one, because I find that when they're on their own, they're super duper peaceful. You're not going to have any of that annoying cichlid behavior. But the second you start getting 2 or 3 in a tank and they reach to like this kind of size, they start thinking about breeding, they can become aggressive. Now, angels also get a little bit larger. So if you got one angel, you might be okay with putting them in a 2-foot tank like this. I'd probably recommend maybe a 3-foot tank. But if you got like a nice big 4-foot long community tank, you can definitely throw a few angels in there. They can kind of wreak havoc a little bit if they start doing that breeding stuff, but one angel is kind of pretty fun, and they're not going to go well with like your cardinal tetras once they get to that super large size. Well, I think they can do cardinals. I think it's the neons they'll probably be able to eat. Yeah, they'll get a little bit larger, but yeah, like smaller nano fish are a big no-no with these guys. But if you just want to have like one in a tank, they're super easy, and like if you can pick a good one, they're bulletproof. That's the case with any fish. If you buy shit fish, they're never going to be good. So if you buy really good quality, healthy fish from a store that cares like we do, you should never have issues. So yeah, angels are great. What do we got next? Endlers. Oh, I've got a good tank to show you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so these are already going nuts. These are endlers. They're probably my favorite equivalent to guppies. When a lot of people get into this hobby, they think instantly beginner fish, guppies, swordtails, platies, things like that. There's a reason I haven't mentioned them, and I find that just for some reason, unbeknown to me, they always have issues like internal parasites, flukes, light bearers disease. Like they just don't really do that well. But endlers are a little bit more still on the wild side. Like they're not so far removed from where they kind of have originated from in the wild, that they're a little bit hardier. And these are so hardy, in fact, that these are Blue Star endlers and they're a line bred strain. I bought 10 of them maybe 4 years ago and put them in a community aquarium at home. And these are the distant relatives of those fish. So I've still got them 4 years down the line, and this is like just one tank of many tanks that I've got of these. So they breed like crazy. They're a live bear. They give birth to live babies. Probably another great beginner fish. I just never really see people struggle with this fish at all. Let's put it this way. I had 1 or 2 fry survive in a tank just continuously over the last few years, and they've continued to populate and explode. So they're a super invasive fish out in the wild, which makes them also really good for beginners. But yeah, endlers are definitely a way better equivalent to like a guppy or something like that if you're a beginner. I just don't really run into issues with them. So, and for the most part, you can keep these with shrimp and other small fish, and they're peaceful and they also breed, so it's fun. Alrighty, so the next one is going to be Crebensis. These are so easy. You've had heaps of success with these, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. These are one of the first cichlids I bred, and they're hardy as anything. Like soft water, hard water, these are like crazy easy. And if you get a male and a female and you put them in a tank with a cave, they're definitely going to breed. And they're great parents. They're just super interesting fish. They're beautiful looking. And yeah, just another great little hardy beginner fish. I think these can become a little bit aggressive, like, because they're a cichlid, they do have some of that, they do have some of that, like, territorial behavior from time to time. But if you keep these in a tank, you know, with some danios, even some endlers, I mean, they're probably going to eat endler babies, but it might help with the overpopulation issue. Minnows, like, most of the fish, even, like, killstream loaches, they're still going to do good. I think these are, like, you kind of want to build a tank around these a little bit more than like have a tank, like add these to a community tank. But I think they're a cool community fish. I've had them in my first ever community tank and they were super fun to keep. And they're also bulletproof. Like, yeah, they're easy. Okay, albino cories. Do you want to show them that disgusting tank we got?
Yeah.
Just to prove it? Alright, so we left this tank to show you guys how disgusting these fish can be. But we've got danios in here. There's a few guppies in here as well. But there's a ton of these albino cories. And albino cories, bronze cories, peppered cories, I find are all pretty bulletproof fish. I've struggled to kill these in the past. They're great little bottom dweller catfish. Super easy to breed too if you want to have a go at that. And yeah, I think these are a great little bulletproof fish. Have you had trouble with these before?
No, they're awesome.
Yeah, I've like struggled with, you know, like panda cories from time to time, but these, for some reason, have just been so easy. Never have issues with them and
Super peaceful.
yeah, they're peaceful too. I mean, obviously they're peaceful, hey. Another good little easy fish if you guys want to try it out. And you can add these to pretty much any tank. I'd recommend getting like 5 to 6 of them to start with. They're a schooling fish, so they're going to want to like stay together, and the more you have, the better they're going to do. But people breed these for us all the time, local breeders, and bring them in because they're just so easy to breed and take care of. And I think the next one was dude.
Oh, she forgot.
Right, so I wanted to put another schooling fish in here. Okay, so the next fish is going to be black neon tetras. These I put on here because they're a little bit bigger. They're a nice schooling fish as well, so you can keep these with like some cardinals. They'll look awesome. They do get quite big, which is kind of cool, but they're super peaceful, and I've found that every time I buy these, they always do really well for me. So I find that like when I buy these wholesale, they never have issues. So again, that's like a real good telltale sign that something's really easy to take care of. I think these are bulletproof. They're not going to like hard water, but if you can keep them in that nice community range, they're going to be so good. And you're probably going to have these live for like 10 years if you can do it properly. So yeah, black neons are great. We also got daisy rice fish. Okay, so the next one's going to be daisy blue rice fish. And you can put Madakas in this list as well, or in this category. These are bulletproof, super easy to care for, and we bred all these by accident. We had a few in here, and we had all these plants and stuff in this vegetation. They lay eggs all the time, and we took the adults out, and then all these babies started popping up, and that's what you can see here. They don't really need any special water parameters. The Madakas can go in much cooler water than these guys can. These are more of a tropical one, the daisy blues, but Madakas can go like pretty much cold water, like snow water. And yeah, bulletproof, super easy. If they get into any creeks, they're going to be super invasive. So, and I think they look really cool. These have like a nice blue eye, but you can get some really nice cool Madakas. And for some reason, like they've never super exploded in the hobby, I found. And I'm not too sure why. In Japan, they're super popular. So we'll see what happens with these in the future. But yeah, they're easy as. What else? I think we only got one left. It's barbs. And then last on the list, the reason they're last is I'm maybe not the biggest fan of these fish, but these are cherry barbs, and we can put tiger barbs in here, golden barbs, all those guys can fit in this category. They're fun, they're great, they're good for planted tanks, but the reason I don't really like barbs too much is they're just a little bit nippy. So they're like danios. I'd put them as the same category as like minnows, danios, things like that. The reason I just don't like barbs is they're not like the best community fish. With things like angels, they're definitely going to be a tad nippy. I mean, there's always going to be people who say, oh, my barbs aren't nippy, this and that, but like, for a cool looking fish, it's disappointing that they have to kind of be kept on their own. But yeah, tiger barbs, cherry barbs, all that. Great, super bulletproof if you want to have just a tank with cherry barbs or tiger barbs. Or, I mean, you could probably put these with some cories because the cories are a little bit more armored, but they're not the best community fish, but they are bulletproof. And yeah, so I think that's it for all the things that we have in the shop at the moment that are like hard to kill. Maybe we'll make an updated list, but I hope this helps you out if you're a beginner. If you are in near Brisbane, come visit our shop and check out our online store. And thanks for watching the video, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.